Cuba's healthcare system, once a source of pride, is now a source of despair. Hospitals lack basic supplies, medicines are scarce. Antibiotics, once readily available, are now precious commodities. Surgical materials are in short supply. Patients, desperate for treatment, are often turned away with nothing. The government, instead of acknowledging the crisis, blames the American embargo. But this is a lie. The embargo does not prevent the purchase of food or medicine. The Cuban government chooses to prioritize other things like maintaining its grip on power. The reality is that the Cuban people are suffering. They are suffering because their government has failed them. They are suffering because their voices have been silenced. The world needs to know what is happening in Cuba. The world needs to know that the Cuban people are in pain. They are in need of help. The elderly, who once enjoyed a level of security and respect, are now among the most vulnerable. They are the ones who remember a time when Cuba was different, a time when there was hope. But those memories are fading, replaced by the harsh realities of the present. Many elderly Cubans suffer from chronic illnesses. They need medication, but they cannot get it. They need care, but they cannot afford it. They are left to fend for themselves, forgotten by the government that promised to protect them. Those with Alzheimer's and other forms of dementia face a particularly cruel fate. Families already struggling to survive are ill-equipped to provide the specialized care their loved ones need. The state-run facilities are overcrowded and understaffed, offering little more than basic shelter. The plight of Cuba's elderly is a heartbreaking testament to the regime's failures. They are a generation betrayed, their sacrifices and contributions ignored. The most heartbreaking consequence of this crisis is the mass exodus of the Cuban people. Young people, desperate for a future, are fleeing the island in record numbers. They are leaving behind their families, their homes, and their culture, all in the hope of finding a better life elsewhere. This exodus is a direct result of the government's policies. It is a vote of no confidence in the regime. The Cuban people have lost faith in their leaders. They have lost hope in their future. The government tries to paint these migrants as traitors, as ungrateful deserters. But the truth is that they are the bravest of all. They are the ones who are willing to risk everything for a chance at freedom. This exodus is a tragedy for Cuba. It is a brain drain, a loss of talent and potential. It is a testament to the desperation that has gripped the island. The Cuban government continues to peddle its propaganda, blaming the embargo for all of the country's problems. They claim to be victims, not perpetrators. But the Cuban people know the truth. They see the corruption, they see the repression, they see the lavish lifestyles of the ruling elite while they struggle to put food on the table. The Cuban people are tired. They are tired of the lies, they are tired of the empty promises, they are tired of living in fear. A spirit of resistance is growing within Cuba. People are raising their voices, demanding change. They are risking their freedom to speak truth to power. The path ahead is uncertain, fraught with risks. But one thing is clear: the Cuban people will no longer be silenced. They are fighting for their future, for their freedom, for a Cuba that is worthy of their dreams. The world must stand with the Cuban people in their struggle. We must amplify their voices, expose the regime's lies, and demand a transition to democracy. The Cuban people deserve to live in a country where their rights are respected, where their voices are heard, and where they have the opportunity to build a better future for themselves and their children.